So I've been on a generational run for the last 6 months, and the generational run continues. The biggest thing I've learned in the last 6 months is this: I used to think the point of the game was to win, but the point of the game is to keep playing, because yes, you win bigger, you achieve the little milestones along the way. Of course, it's important to have those measuring sticks, but at the end of the day, if I win big, like if I win the biggest I've ever won, the next day I want to be able to get up and keep going. If I take a massive loss, the next day I want to be able to get up and keep going. If things keep going the way they're going, the next day I want to be able to get up and keep going. And so the point of the game is to find a game that you just want to play, and the venues just change. You know, you take a massive loss, you're playing under a bridge. You take a huge win, you're playing on the penthouse suite. But you will get up the next day and you will keep playing the game. And so that shift, the moment I understood that, everything changed for me. Because when you're obsessed with outcomes, every loss hurts more, every rejection feels more personal, every catastrophic, every delay feels catastrophic, you know? And when you're focused on the process itself, you understand that those things will come and go. You understand that this too shall pass, you know? Oh, I just got paid. Awesome. This too shall pass. Oh, payments are delayed. It sucks, but this too shall pass. You know, so it's about that ability to just get up and keep going, get up and hit the next milestone, get up and attend the next meeting, get up and just keep going. That's the point. That's where the winning is. That's where all the progression is. That's where everything that you need is on the journey, not in any set destination. Like the point of the mountain is to climb it, not to stare up at the mountaintop and wish that you were further than you are. Because even if you were further than you are, you'd still be quite far from where you began, hopefully, and would have a ways to go. Otherwise, you're gonna run out of mountain. And what's the fun in that? What's the fun of being out of mountain? There isn't. And that's why you find people at the highest peaks of the mountain who just find another mountain they want to climb. That's just all that happens. And if that doesn't make you realize that the joy is in the process itself, then I don't know if anything will. Like that's the whole point. The whole point is to keep climbing, is to keep going. And so if you think about climbing a mountain, you're taught that if you keep staring at the summit, then you stop paying attention to the path, and eventually you'll stumble, you'll miss your footing, you'll lose momentum because your focus is in the wrong place. You know, again, that doubles down on the thought that you must focus on the process itself, and just doing it every day. And yeah, you have to shift gears, especially I'll speak specifically to my fellow entrepreneurs out there. I'll speak to my business owners. When you are in this process, you keep shifting, you keep having to shift gears, you keep having to shift gears from one thing to the next thing to the thing after that, in the sense that hmm, one day you're focused on preparation mode, research mode, um, maker mode. You're focused on making this thing that is going to be an asset for your business. Okay, you make the thing. Now you need to get into network mode, meeting mode, content mode. Or actually, those are all separate modes, by the way. But they're all achieving the same thing, which is, oh, I'm marketing. I'm getting my name out there. I'm getting to know other people's names. I'm learning more about my marketplace and the players that are here. Um, and there are multiple different disciplines that you can get into in order to continue to expand your horizons, and all those different disciplines need you to make a shift, you know? Like honestly, it's not easy snapping back into one mode when you've been in another. So like the past couple of days I've been in manager mode. I've been in a lot of meetings trying to make sure that my team's coordinated, they know what to do, they know what the outcomes that are expected are. I've been in maker mode because there's a very important meet coming up quite soon. And I've been in networker mode meeting people, seeing new faces, shaking hands, trying to connect people, make money move around you, like just make money flow, even without the intention of capturing some of the money that is flowing from one person to the other. Because when people around you make money, when people around you make money through you, or people around you make money in general, and you were a part of that process, they will tend to want to make more money with you around you. They will tend to want to make you money. And so I think it's very important to kind of stay in that state. And so when you're in that type of state where you're networking, you're connecting, you're making money move, you're doing all that stuff, that's a different mode yet again of trying to achieve the same thing, which is that constant forward momentum. Like the content engine, it's been churning, it's been putting out, like I've been putting out content every day, as per usual, multiple content, multiple different formats, like the whole nine yards. And like the like everything's working the way that it's supposed to, and then trying to snap back into creating content mode. It's been like, because this is all a part of the same thing, in terms of it's all marketing at the end of the day. It's all getting your name out there, it's all getting the facial recognition up, it's all providing value to people. Whether you are meeting, or you're doing the content thing, or you're networking, the goal should be to provide value to the people around you. And so you can say, oh, it's the same thing in that sense, but there's a mental cost to snapping into one task, snapping into the other, snapping into the other. Like it's really, especially when, like, context switching, like there's really studies and research that has been done about the cost of context switching, and how it's one of the most expensive things you can do is to switch context the whole time. And I think that's why it's very important to pick what you want to do. Decide who you want to be, decide what niche you want to go deep on, and just go all in on that, because things are complicated as they are. Like every bucket has multiple sub buckets. Especially, again, I'll speak to my business owners, my entrepreneurs. When you're trying to build the cash engine, and you're trying to build the reinvestment engine at the same time. So you're trying to build the thing that is going to make you money now, as well as the thing that is going to make sure that that money keeps making money in the long term. Simultaneously, you there's a lot of context switching that happens even within that. So within your niche, there's a lot of context switching, and then within the things that you do, they're the multiple different disciplines, they're the multiple different departments, they're the multiple different people, multiple different whatever, that all culminate into just having one thing happen, which is that you keep playing the game. And so I feel like it's very, very important to make sure that you're niching down. And I feel like it's very important to keep your eyes on the road, keep your eyes on the path, because as soon as you look up, what are you not focusing on? You're not focusing on your next step. And the thing that actually ensures that you get there at some point and beyond is that you do that next step, and you do the next one, and you do the next one, and you do the next one. And so, stay in the race. That's really the ultimate thing that you could possibly take away is, let me stay in the race. Let me put one foot in front of the other, and let me continue to elevate not just myself, but the people around me. Um, and so people obsess over revenue targets, the client, the contract, the breakthrough. They focus on where they're trying to get to. But the reality is, those things are outcomes, and your responsibility is the path. And I think something very important that I did put in the notes that I didn't touch on now is, when you focus on the outcome, you tend to you lose grip, you lose focus, but you're focusing on things that you can't control as well. And so when you focus on the things that you can't control, when you focus on those intangibles that just have to be in your favor, if things are going to come through, um, then you'll tend to be less productive, and you'll tend to do not as much as you can do. But if you focus on the controllables, and you control the control, you make sure you do everything you say you're going to do, you make sure you show up when you say you're going to show up, like, honestly, just that just that will change your life. If you just do what you say you're going to do, you say, hey, I am going to source this for you, and you do that. I'm going to get you this type of content, and you do that. I am going to show up in ABCD way, and you do it. It will honestly fundamentally shift the way that you approach life. It will fundamentally shift the way that you approach and the way that people approach you. When you become known as a man of your word, when you respect people's time, if you're not going to be able to make something, say ahead of time, I'm not going to be able to. Because here's the thing: everyone understands that life happens. Everyone understands that things don't happen the way that we want them to all the time. But if you make yourself the type of person who does show up by any means, when you say you're going to show up, and then when you're not able to show up, you communicate accordingly, as far ahead of time as you possibly can in that moment in time, etc. You're just respectful of people's minds, people's preparation, people's time. um, like things will come towards you. People want to spend more time with you because I think a lot of people are very inconsiderate. I really truly believe that. I really truly believe that a lot of people just don't consider what they do. They're just not very conscious of what they do, and the kind of effect you can have on the next person. And I think if you're in a space where you want people to feel good about you, you want people to want to deal with you more, make deals with you more, you need to consider yourself in the sense that, okay, as I'm coming into this situation, am I being a contributor or an extractor? It's like, okay, I'm here, I'm receiving value. Okay, in what ways can I give value just based off the fact that I'm there? In what ways can people feel like, wow, you know what? I actually like having that person around, because when they're around, I either learn something, I get something, something positive happens for me. You're positively reinforcing your presence versus if you come in and you don't consider those types of things and you just extract the value that is proposed and that is given. Huh. I say this to my I say this to my team all the time. You know, they're a young bunch. I say to them, in the rooms that I've been in, you know, rooms with billionaires, rooms with millionaires, the way you spot the person who doesn't belong is you spot the extractor. You spot the person who's trying to take. Um, when you get into these rooms, you realize that they're rooms full of givers, and they're givers that protect each other and they give to one another. And that's what allows the entire community to flourish, because it's a community of givers. You know, you've often heard this said about the Jewish culture, and that being the reason why they're often very affluent, very wealthy, is because I will support you, you will support me. Like any opportunity I get to get some support your way in terms of sponsorship, in terms of partnership, in terms of like whatever it is that I can do to provide value to your situation, I do that, and whatever you can do, you do that for me. What you'll find is that the entire community ends up benefiting from it. And that's often the concept of these networking things that we get to. They're often referral systems, referral machines, and that's what allows everyone to elevate very very quickly, a lot quicker than you otherwise would, because you have to maximize the daily action, which maximizes your weekly output, which maximizes your monthly output. And if you're maximizing how much you're putting out and you're doing and you're involved in every month, then of course you're gonna have a great year. Of course, like, and that's the thing. The thing is, the success becomes a byproduct. The money that comes in becomes a byproduct of who you are and the way that you show up. It's not that you push for the money and then thereafter you end up doing the things that you're supposed to do. It's like that's, you're thinking about it backwards. The truth of the matter is, if you focus on the process itself, if you focus on doing what is supposed to be done, all those accolades will come as a byproduct, like real. And so the best thing you can do is realize that outcomes are a distraction, and the best use of your time is to focus on the process itself and developing it and becoming better at it. And so once I realized that the point was to stay in the game, I stopped needing every opportunity to work. I stopped needed every person to believe. I stopped needing every meeting to become a deal, because whether they say yes or no, I still wake up tomorrow and I keep going. Like that's really it. And so you realize like, oh, okay, no, I made that partnership. I thought that was going to change everything, and nothing happened. Okay, let me make a deal with this person. Okay, boom, deal. Nothing happened. Huh. Okay, let me boom, let me acquire this guy. Boom, boom, boom. Got paid. Damn, like shit, the market didn't like shift fundamentally. Like what? Like what's actually going on? But those little increments that you do, those tiny deals that you do, that tiny piece of recognition, that person you meet who allows you to meet the next person, meet the next person, meet the next person, and you interweave yourself, you stay active, you stay out there, you connect to these people, you provide value to these people. What you'll realize over time, like when I put my head up and I look back, I'm like, oh, all those little nothing deals are actually what allowed me to put myself in this position where things are beginning to happen for me, and I can facilitate the things happening because I know all these people who can do all these things, and they and they all owe me favors. Nah, I'm playing, but it's like, yeah, and I've positioned myself well in their lives as a value provider to the point where they want to provide value to me as well. um and so I'd encourage that. I'd encourage that a lot. And so massive teachable is that when you understand that the point of the game is to keep going, you become harder to discourage. Nobody can stop you with a single rejection. Nobody can stop you with a bad mouth, with a missed opportunity, because the game continues. And I'll talk about the discouragement. I'll talk about the bad mouth thing. Is the only way um, you cement a reputation, the only way that you dispute a bad thing about your reputation is just continue to meet people. Keep doing, just keep doing. Like regardless, bro. The meta point is just keep doing what you're doing if it's working. Which is you keep learning, you keep adjusting, you keep moving forward, and that will tell the story. Like that will be your ultimate defense against anything anyone can say about you, against any discouragement. You outwork your self-doubt, and you outwork the market's doubt of you if you keep showing up and you keep providing value. It's like it's people get to a point where they're like, man, it's impossible to think that this guy is not who he says he is, because he literally is. Like I've been seeing him. He's been doing this every single day for X amount of time. Like this is just, he is inevitable, and that's how you become inevitable ultimately. Regardless of what people say, think, if you just continuously show up and just make people's lives better, then that reputation will eventually precede you, and that's just the reality of it. And honestly, if I won for the next decade, I still would be doing what I do. If I lost for the next decade, I still would be doing what I do. The scenery changes, the work doesn't, and that's how you know. That's how you know I love it. Because I said this earlier, but before I got into to the section in the notes, that under a bridge, I get up the next morning, I do what I do. I get up the next morning, I door knock, I try to provide value. Um, I try and shake hands, like make deals. I'd work out Monday to Friday. I'd try to spend time with my family. I'd try and just appreciate and take every moment in, take every day in, because it's all part of the journey, and every day is a new day, man. Every moment's a new moment, and so it's very important to just get into that moment and appreciate that you're there as often as you can. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do, and something that's not in the notes, but I want to mention as well because I think about all the time. I hate when I hate the cultural thing that we have about, yo, there are people who have it so much worse than you. Be grateful for what you have. And the reason why I hate that is because why must I start from there? I am doing better than XYZ, and therefore I must feel good about myself, or therefore I must appreciate what I have. But like, so if everyone had exactly what I have, should I not be grateful then? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if everyone is doing better than me, should I not be grateful for life? So I don't I really despise that as a whole thought concept, as a whole school of thought. Um, I absolutely hate the, oh, I will compare myself and then draw a therefore I must be grateful. No, it's like just be grateful, man. Just be grateful. Life is finite. Every life is unique, and love yours, as J. Cole so eloquently put it once upon a time. But knowing that you love the game and you love the process is exactly that. It's the scenery changes, but what I do doesn't. And so I think it's very important to find those things that you would do for free, realistically. Just find the things that you would do for free, and if you do it for free, you will, and you'll get to a point where you eventually just can't do it for free anymore because people like the fact that you do it, and when you do it for them, it it shifts and changes something about the way that they approach their lives to the point where it materially changes their lives, and they will give you some of that material so that you keep doing it for them instead of doing it for anyone else because they realize the value in what you do. Like that's the reality of the situation. Just find the thing that you love doing and that you will keep doing that the market values, of course, and keep doing that. And so maybe success belongs to people who stop treating the process as the cost and start treating the process as the reward. I really, I really, really sincerely believe that. Let me say it again. Maybe success belongs to the people who stop treating the process as a cost and start treating the process as the reward. Maybe that's when your life changes. When you realize that the point of the game is to keep playing. And you realize that if the point of the game is to keep playing, what am I doing playing another man's game? What am I doing worried about other people's opinions about my game? What fruit is there to be gained? What's the point in living like that? When you realize that the process itself is the reward, that the work works on you more than you work on it, and therefore you owe the game a lot more than it owes you, regardless of the amount of work that you put in. It's like, yeah, but you didn't put in that work for the game. You did that for you. You did that to change your life, change the lives of the people around you. And so, if anything, you owe the game a lot more work. You owe the game to give your best and show up at your best. Maybe success belongs to those who treat the process as the reward and not the cost. And so whether you win, you lose, you draw, the question remains, can you keep playing? Because the people who stay in the game long enough eventually become impossible to ignore. And so the point of the game isn't to win. The point of the game is to keep playing. Thank you for watching, entrepreneurs. If you are a marketer in Port Elizabeth, there's a link in the description down below where you can create yourself a profile, avail yourself as talent for Legacy Africa, and we'll reach out to you. Um, Even if you're not an entrepreneur, thank you for watching. I do appreciate you. I've been Sage, standing on business, signing up.